Hello and welcome. This is Ultimate League. We're here for Season 15, Round 2, for the Finnish Grand Prix at the Kimi Ring circuit. This track has featured in the league once before, 4 seasons ago. Season 11, we saw amazing driving from the likes of Nuno and Buda, and a battle all the way to the end on the pace of those two brilliant drivers. They'll give it another go here today, joined by a whole host of excellent racers, just as I am joined by Goose.
Aye, we're in for a banger today. One of the more technical tracks that we will see in many of the seasons here, especially this last section. It's going to be a perfectionist's pool today.
Yeah, I think that might be right. We'll see the scores on the doors. Charge JT on for a pole position. That'd be amazing. Sexy Digger looking to continue his strong form from last race with a second place start. Nuno ahead of Corvid provisionally on the second row. Corvid recovered from that broken wrist suffered in pre-season. He is now back and he is ready to rumble. Hanandi ahead of Kraft. We'll see how they do as the second lap comes in. Quite a long circuit, 35.40 is our provisional pole time, so the drivers take a little bit of time to just get around this track. But as we see, some of the time's improvement. Nuno hops up to second position. Yeah, heavy braking in a lot of places at this circuit. The hairpins in the bottom right and left, and particularly that final sector, require skill on the brakes, skill in not taking drivers out. We'll see how successful people are in that today. As we come up to final lap of quali, Goose, how's it looking? What do you think is going to be the end result of this?
I think someone's going to shave off a little bit more here. We'll have to see who it is. It could be Sexy Digger. He's had good luck in... Oh, it's Hanandi.
And Nuno, tied for pole.
Oh, there you go.
That is quite something.
35.35 was a predicted pole by someone, and they almost got there. But that's a Levioso Sports Art 1-2 1-1, I guess you could say. It's a 1-1 start for LSA.
I think that might be the first time ever, as we do it in Ultimate League, pole position is awarded to both drivers who get it. So Leviosa Sports Art do get 2 pole positions for that. Brilliant to see. It's a 1-1 for LSA. We have no idea who's going to start ahead.
Incredible stuff.
On the front row, Charge JT starts 3rd ahead of Sexy Digger. Buda starts 5th ahead of Anti-Amazing. It's Kraft, then Corvid, Figuera, and Rams in his first race back for many, many seasons. Since Season 8, he last holds that FGR seat. He is back in the car, replacing the now retired Ewer. What a performance. Top 10. First qualifying back. Grandy starts 11th ahead of Nico Minardi. Go on. Oh yes, of course, a home race for him and many other Finns. We'll go through them all in a second. Ahead of Nico Minardi, the Mayhems, very experienced champions, Nomskar and Danimator only managed the 7th row. Jaruni starts 15th ahead of Matima, then Urist and Bubbles starting last for FGR. Kada not in again today. We have a lot of Finns having their home race at this circuit. We have the Anti-Amazing, we have Kraft, we have Rams, and we also have Grandy. I believe that's all of them. Here we go then. Time for the racing action. Nuno's car broke down on the formation lap. He does not take the start. We're underway here for Ultimate League. Hanandi from pole position. Sexy Digger immediately looking to come alongside on the hard compound tyre. Will he get through? Not quite. Anti though, off into the grass. In the background, JT, Kraft, Buda, all up there as well. This could be a pretty ugly moment coming to the hairpin if people aren't careful. Most people, everyone, keeps it pretty safe. Ruski, the last minute reserve for LSA, in there at the back, does make up a couple positions at the start. Sexy Digger holding off Buda on the hard compound tyre. Buda on the soft goes all the way around the outside and does take the position. Hanandi side by side with Buda. Buda up into second. Corvid off the track there, but he's still in this massive pack of cars. Kraft alongside him. Sexy Digger, his teammate just behind. Figuera in the neon sunset just behind them. Take 2 of going down that long back straight. Big slipstream trains going on here. Could we get an SCP 1-2 coming out of it? Kraft goes to the outside and Andy and Buda duck underneath. And Kraft will not take second position. Corvid now throwing him as well. Charge JT leads the Finnish Grand Prix. And Andy alongside Corvid sends it in there. So does Sexy Digger on Figuera on the hard compound tyre. He goes right in. Kraft cuts the corner. Corvid cuts the corner as well. Both of them get the slow down. Buda looks to slightly break away, but Hernandi still very much within his slipstream. Can he potentially make a move on these drivers ahead? They take that nice wide line using all of the runoff available. Will Buda go for the race lead here? Will any of the cars behind go for some sort of move? Coming to this corner, Hernandi tries a move on Buda. Doesn't quite get it there. Sexy Digger right behind Figuera. Kraft around his outside. This top 7, a huge battling pack. Behind we've got Matimar, Nomska, Minardi up the inside. Nobody crashing off the circuit as far as I've seen just yet, but gaps have started to form. Rams down to 13th, Grandi down to 14th, Rusky up a few positions. He takes Urist off the racetrack. Jaruni running in 16th, Bubbles running last. Goose, your thoughts on the start?
We've kept things very contained. If anyone was here witnessing the other 3 leagues that raced previously today, it's been quite chaotic, and I think everyone's handling themselves really nicely, and we've got 3 separate packs kind of making their way around the track. It's going to prove interesting to see how they space out come a few laps from now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been relatively, and obviously I've not seen too much from it because there might have been some incidents in the pack behind, but it's been actually quite a decent little race start. We see Kraft going off there. No huge dramatic lag rockets or crazy crashes off at the hairpins, which is what we might come to expect. Minardi is now up into 8th position. He gets edged off by Antti there. Nomskar might ever go down the inside. Nomskar's first ever race for the Mayhem team. He goes in as an emergency reserve for today. Corvid and Figuera get into a little bit of a slide there, but not too bad. Now it is bad. Wow. The FLF's both into the grass there. Both of them taking some pretty heavy slowdown. Kraft through there. I had a huge collision. Not sure where that came from. Sexy Digger in there as well. Corvid alongside Figo at the minute. These are your top 3. Chalcheti, Hernandi and Buda. Buda, the only driver who's on the podium at this circuit 1 year ago, who is currently on the podium. Nuno a DNS in this race. Grandi, our first stopper, 18th place for him. Hard compound tyres go on this track. You might come to expect after the first stint lots of hard compound tyres because it's got a lot of quite twisty corners and a long lap time as well. You don't want to be out there on old softs. Figuera up in 5th. Hi Nuno. Nuno, do you want to run us through the DNS? Must be gutting.
It's like the best reason to freaking miss a race. Because like during qualifying, my mom was calling me, and she wanted me to help her with something. I told her that I couldn't and all of that, but she didn't care, so I had to go either way. And yeah, just no choice.
Yeah, so an engine failure. Figuera up the inside of JT.
Such is life.
Such is life. Look at this, big battling. Oh, Corvid, I think he took took JT into the pits.
Yeah, these worn tires really tricked on some people there, I think.
Interesting. Yeah, Nuno, if you could, I think, join the lobby midway through and have a little other view from that. It's Buda versus Figuera for the race lead at the moment. These two haven't pitted yet.
Probably not, because midway through it's not the same like spectator views.
True. Sexy Digger making his move. The old softs there for Buda, quite slow now. He will be in, and he's might not.
Also interesting to see Hernandi going from the other cut, although he had to pass probably Gironi, which he may have tried to slow him down. Now let's see how big that undercut is going to be, because yeah, I can see here Buda going for the 8-lap softs, and now just probably looking to just go for the hards to the end. Same thing with Hernandi, I think, as he pushes around there. Oh my god. And yeah, now he's racing Urist. It might not be the best experience there. He goes around the outside and he completes the move.
Good racing there. Yeah, you can see the gaps now formed. Hernandi, JT, Corvid, Kraft were all pretty much alongside Buda. Now have those seconds of advantage, and Buda's late stop means that he lost enough time to come out into this pack that he maybe could have avoided had he been 1 lap earlier in. But he seems like a man who is quite self-assured in his strategy. So leave him to cook. Rusky and Grandi looking at a move on Figuera. Rusky, his debut race for the LSA team. Last minute reserve, and he's fighting admirably up in the midfield at the minute. Our top 8 is Buda, behind Kraft, then Corvid and JT. Antti yet to come in. Hernandi chasing down Danimator, and Sexy Digger also yet to come in. Our race leader. 31 to go as he finishes off this lap. Danimator into pit lane. teammate Nomskar came in earlier, so it's only Rusky, Bubbles, and Urist yet to stop in this race, as well as Sexy Digger. And the anti-amazing JT looking at a move here on Anti, pulls alongside into the braking zone. Anti brakes way early to pretty much sweep JT right through into third. This is not a fight that he particularly wants to fight, nor will Corvid be, I'm sure, by the time he gets up to the rear diffuser of that Nordic Thunder car. Kraft right behind him. Buddha just standing in tow. Corvid with a little dive bomb here. This pack could be an interesting one to watch. Battle! Corvid into the pit wall! Oh dear, and on still pretty fresh hards is sent flying into the concrete. Goes in for new tyres anyways, decides against leaving the pit lane again. This is just going to change his strategy, I suppose, in no different a way that rain cutting short a stop would. But if it rains now, he will be absolutely fuming. Nuno.
Yeah, it's quite a big disaster there for Corby. Like, pitting one extra time unnecessarily is one of the worst things that can happen on a track like this. But very interesting to see now Hernandi. I think that the undercut may have been a good call now. Not really sure if Charge pitted at the same time or if they...
Yeah, same age tyre.
Yeah, so I think the pace will really dictate a lot of things here. They are both with clean air, exact same strategy, and it's the pace making the difference. In the meantime, Buddha still now trying to play that catch-up game after making that overcut. Now he's going to have Kraft behind him, who might potentially try play some team tactics here if he wants to, but maybe he also wants to be in the fight for the podium, so he might just slipstream, of course, one of the fastest drivers, if not the fastest driver on the current grid. So yeah.
Okay, well, if we want to take a quick trip down memory lane, we have only one of the last Kimi Ring's podium sitters in a podium position right now. Nuno won the last race. This is going back to round 8 of season 11. Buddha finished P2, and Corvid got his first podium of his career at Kimi Ring. Nuno, of course, didn't make the race start, and Corvid has been lambasted into that pit wall, so Buddha
does not bode well
for the yeah, it's going to be one heck of a comeback. But yeah, Buddha's still a podium hopeful, sitting in P3 right now.
Well, they can still win, I would say. The thing is that the strategy, you lose so much time initially at 8th lap on the softs, but then you'll be like gaining and gaining. But yeah, the pace now is obviously going to really dictate a lot of things and mistakes and all of that. So yeah, Buddha is pretty much just always gonna have better tires. It could make a difference also the rain if it comes right when Hernandi and Charge it pits. That would be something that could happen. But yeah, hopefully I'm not watching anything here.
I think Buddha, who was of course winless in season 11, the Mayhem team, constructors champions, but without any victories to their name. Due to the dominance of a certain racer who I can't remember who that was now. But Buddha, Kimi Ring season 11 was up to a point considered one of his finest performances, because the closeness in pace that he had with Nuno and the race win being decided in the end by, I think it was a strategy call or something to do with the rain, was it? Something
it was
that just...
the rain.
Yeah.
He has just pitted and I think changed the tires. I was like entering the pits, then the rain came in, I could change the tires to something else, and I think it was an house rain Buddha went for the into the wets, and then it changed back to dries. Buddha had already pitted, I was in the pit line, and so I changed to dries. It was a little bit slower, like Buddha had faster tires, but he had that one extra pit stop, which then cost him the win, so...
The two soft runners are in a pretty good battle down there in 13th, 14th.
Yeah, Nico Minardi. Go on.
Yeah, I would say Minardi, after the last race, he felt a little bit frustrated. I think the driving standards and how sometimes the pace might not matter that much because how easily you can get screwed up. But hopefully now he has one of the cleanest drivers right behind him. I think he might potentially just change his opinion.
Yeah. Rusty and Eurus side by side as Matimar comes into pit lane on Ghost's Jerry, looking for a move down the inside on pretty fresh mediums and gets it done nice and cleanly. Matty just gave him the gap. He looked to turn in slightly, but no, he's going to slipstream on these hard compound tyres. Good racing from our lower down drivers at the moment. Rusky looking for a potential move on Eurus. Same age, hard compound tyres. He's not going to be sitting in slick for too much longer. He goes down and wide. The CL drivers for their respective teams going up against each other here. Rams into the pit lane. Jaruni now through on Rusky. We'll take a look at the upper midfield just as soon as this battle concludes in a sense. Rusky, Jaruni, Eurus, Matimar. This is a big pack of cars. 3 wide. They go down the main straight. Mati backs out.
This could go wrong. It doesn't really, maybe for Jaruni a little bit, but it could have been much worse.
Definitely could have. Yeah, surprisingly clean is the motto of the race. The SCPs double stack the Paracaro cars into their pit boxes in that beautiful new livery for the Italian team. Danimator comes out and splits them coming up the main straight. Hernandi and JT in for their second stops, and Kraft as well, and that is big disappointment with light rain now on its way. Hugely advantageous to the likes of Buddha and Sexy Digger, who I have no doubt will be in.
Sexy Digger catching Buddha, I think they might have a bit of a fight, but we don't know if the rain will stay for long or not.
That's the question.
Might try and stay
Hernandi
out,
in.
Hernandi
he's not going to risk it. Kraft is.
Try to play the gamble now, but
let's
see. Kraft is going to try it at least.
The end of this track is very, very technical. It's extremely risky to stay out on the wrong tire here because the last bit of the track is the worst part.
Absolutely. And that's many drivers would often go for that gamble of staying out on a fresh slick, even when the rain is cold. Matimar has done the same thing. But you can see, and we'll watch the likes of Danimator going through this final sector, currently a good few seconds ahead of Hernandi, JT, Corvid. The sun's coming back, but I think there's going to be enough standing water anyways, to be honest, to justify an inter, or at least it'll be nip and tuck. Because look how much time Danny losing on this lap. He is already going slower than his personal best. Yeah, well, that's true.
But he has all, and the thing is that Kraft has new tires, so it's a much different situation compared to Danny. So
Danny's going to go on to
he's out on new slicks, Danny. That's a good strategy that you can do. Go and stop from slick to slick while it's raining. You're not losing time through grip loss in the pit lane.
Yeah,
but he has to beat either way.
True. There we go then. Buddha, our race leader on the inters. The track is now dry. The inters still have decent little grip. Sexy Digger has dropped back. That is thanks in part to Danimator coming between them. Kraft stayed out and he continues to stay out. And he takes the lead of the Finnish Grand Prix. Like you said, Nuno, that fresh tyres gave him decent enough grip to be able to fight. The question is, though, with the tyre disadvantage and the gap.
Yeah, that's the big thing now. But it is a good gap. Maybe the rain could come back already so that tyre disadvantage disappears. But we will have to see now, and this is once again the rain really just shaking up everything. I don't think there was much that Sanandi or Sharjati could have done to prevent this from happening, because they had their own planned strategies, and trying to change that could also cost them a lot of time by just trying to stay out one more lap, and sometimes it's just unpredictable.
Absolutely.
And so now Kraft has 5 seconds of a gap. Might be good enough to maybe take his first ever win. I think he is one of those drivers who certainly deserves one at this point. He has proven quite a lot of things in the past. He was quite close in Vancouver, and today could be a very special day for him.
Yes, completely. It's an interesting one. Kraft and JT, great teammates, podium sitters, relatively still very new drivers in this league. Of course, Kraft entering what is now, I think, his 6th season is incredible, but still feels like a new driver to a lot of us sitting up here in the commentary box.
Last season in Kimi Ring, Kraft was P15, so he was just getting started back then, and it's the real deal today.
Absolutely. Yeah. Also, I think this is gonna play a huge role. I think mentally for both the drivers, because Kraft might have that pace advantage right now, that gap, but he certainly is gonna have a bit of a pace disadvantage now at least. And it might be a little bit mental seeing the gap going down now. And well, for Booth, it might be potentially different. He has better tires. He will see that gap going now, which might contribute for his motivation to try chase down the Finnish driver. But we might really have, the Finnish people might really have something to cheer for their home hero today.
That would be quite something. Looking at another Finnish driver, we've got the Anti-Amazing in 9th place, chasing down Corvid. Well, he goes down to 18th briefly, but I think that's just a transponder issue. Chasing down Corvid, who is in 8th place at the moment. Nomskar not far behind. All 3 of these drivers Excellent drivers, very fast drivers. Antti and Noms have been around for donkey's years. Corvid, a little newer, but still on the podium last time we raced here at Kimi-ring, his first podium. Mattimar ahead of the lot of them. JT, one of our 3 drivers on the softs, and he sets a personal best lap on that last lap, chasing down the LSA of Hernandi, who you'd think would be looking at making as big a gap as possible in the standings on his teammate Nuno, while Nuno had to retire on the formation lap with an engine issue. But only 4th at the moment. He'd be hoping for at least a podium today. Sexy Digger, though, trying to prove he's not a one-race wonder. He truly had an amazing drive in Hockenheim. 2nd place ahead of the likes of some very experienced drivers, and he's backing that up with another very strong performance here today. The Challenger League driver. Buda, that's not Bubble. That is Bubbles ahead of him, not Kraft. Still a couple seconds back from the flying Finn at the moment. 13 laps left at the end of this one. And Kraft just making his way around. This will be interesting. Nuno, in terms of strategies to the end, we don't have long left. What do you think it's going to be? Just a hard stint?
I think it will, with 12 laps to go. I think he's going to pit the next lap and then going to the end on the hards. While Buda, I'm not totally sure exactly where should he pit, but he's certainly going to be also doing one more pit stop, but he's probably going to be either the mediums or the softs. And it's going to be interesting because yeah, Craft tires will be quite old either way, while for Buda, it might potentially be a little bit softer, and I think Buda can really try and play with these to prepare himself for an eventual final battle if he can catch Kraft, which I think he can, if he can pick up a faster compound. Oh, but Kraft's staying out. I think he wants to even out the tires for the end, so he probably knows that he's going to get caught up either way, but it might happen way too soon. And yeah, this is now the big thing. If he can just stay ahead, at least maintain a little bit of a gap to really make sure that he can make at least some sort of undercut here.
It's a big gamble, definitely, for Kraft, because you can see where he's coming from with this. If you try and level the playing field, he's got that little gap to play with. You can use it now in the sense of going long on these hards. If he stays out another lap, he's definitely doing so. But no, he goes into the pit lane, so he will take a slight undercut on Buda. The idea being that if you can level that out, go into the pits at the same time, and then be on the same tyre afterwards, the slipstream can carry you to that race finish as a pack. Whereas going for a big undercut, going in, and then Buda being on a fresher tyre, the pace differential lap to lap will be too much for Kraft to stay in a slipstream. So this could offer him a better chance at the win.
Yeah, that's the thing now. He's sacrificing a little bit of that gap. Might make things a little bit easier for Buda to catch, but at the same time, the battle itself might be different, and I think Kraft is probably thinking that he will get caught up either way. There's the thing, he did the 12 lap stint now, and so he doesn't have to do it later. So in the sense, he didn't lose much, but yeah, the pace will now have a really be crucial, and yeah, Buda now really needs to make the best laps that he can, and yeah, let's see how it goes to the end.
Weather marker moves, clouds are coming. Let's see how that plays into the hands of these drivers. Buda might try and extend a little bit if he feels it in his knees that the drops are going to start falling here in the Kimi ring. Something Kraft might be faced with is the prospect of overtaking Hernandi. These two very fast drivers, very good friends. But Hernandi might not make it too easy here, because this is still Hernandi's race. Well, he's got older hards, but he's not exactly waving him through at the minute. Kraft's still just behind at the moment. Hernandi going here. Will Kraft go for a move into the hairpin? No, he just has to stick behind the slightly slidey Hernandi. Side by side they go down the back straight. Hernandi just eases off the gas a little bit here and will let Kraft through. Not too much time loss for the Finn. Buda might be in on this lap, 8 laps to the end. A medium stint, most likely, but soft as it could be because he started on them and did 8 laps at the very beginning. We'll have to see how it goes. Into the pit lane he comes. One final time.
I think he's going for the soft.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Or maybe the mediums have
No.
better tire. There he goes. Yeah, this is why he wants to have better tires compared to Kraft. Because if he went for the softs, maybe he could catch him faster. But then, once again, in the end, Kraft tires may have been just a little bit better. But now it's going to be interesting because it is 8 laps to go. And it's a 3-second gap. Might potentially not have a battle at all, but we will have to see how it goes.
Interestingly enough, Sexy Digger and Hernandi both in for the softs. These drivers confident enough in their own pace that they will be able to take these the softest compound all the way to the checkered flag. Buddha,
Yeah,
you can see. Go on, Goose.
Don't know. I don't know about that call. I'm no professional driver of any sorts, but those soft tires are going to be like a wet skating rink at the end of this race.
You
They
can say
will,
that.
but Sexy Eagle might play potential part if he can catch Buddha, because he's going to have. Because the softs are way faster than the other tires on when they're both fresh, and it really makes a huge difference. If you can use the new feature for the time trial events, you can see how much of a difference it makes. The softs, like, they just gain massively, and we might potentially see a Sexy Digger catching Buddha before Buddha catches Craft, so it could be interesting.
This is going to be a fascinating end to the race. Look at this, 2.5 seconds between first and second and third. Hard, medium, soft. We'll come back to this in just a second. We'll take a look at the other battles in the field. Pretty spaced out, top 6, 7, 8. Before we get to Anti, still in that fight with Noms. Noms the slightly older hard, Anti the slightly fresher medium. Noms taking the slipstream at the moment. Figuera there. Grandy just getting past him now, going down the back straight, side by side. They go. Grandy eases off once again. Matimar still has a part to play. He was running a little higher than 12th earlier. He's just come in recently for new softs. Rams on the hards, 13th at the moment. Minardi 14th. Then it's Rusky, Jaruni, Urist, and Bubbles last at the minute. Jaruni not quite the top 10 running that he was doing in Hockenheim. Rusky putting in some points for LSA at the moment.
Also, Buddha looking incredibly close to Kraft right now. He might actually be able. And the big thing is, if Buddha catches Kraft, I'm pretty sure this will take a huge role mentally, because he's going to be looking to just try and grab that win as much as he can. And he might potentially influence the batting, but I'm pretty sure Kraft also doesn't want to let this one go. It's pretty much a unique chance. And yeah, it's going to be, I think, an epic battle. I think they're going to certainly be giving it all.
You're absolutely right. The mind games that it has to play as soon as you in the corner of your eye and in the corner of your screen see the likes of Buddha chasing you down on a fresher tyre, faster tyre. What could happen? And they do have quite a decent gap behind, so Digger hasn't really been able to eat into Buddha's gap. That is the pace difference between these drivers. If there's real battling coming onto the final lap, both of them with quite old tyres, losing a lot of time because they have no much interest to cooperate. Kraft, a second or a third, I don't think would make a huge difference to him here, but a win would mean the world, and it would mean the world for the Scuderia Paracaro team as well. That would be absolutely insane.
Also for the Finnish fans as well.
Absolutely, for the Finnish fans
It's
who've
their-
turned out here at the Kimi Ring. It's a sellout attendance, but Buddha looking to spoil the fun from just south of the sea.
Yeah, there's 2 laps to go. That straight might play a huge role here. Let's see, any mistake can really decide the race, or whether we have a battle or we don't have any battles. If it's Buddha making that mistake, it's really going to be so close right now.
Oh, it's
As I think he's going to be catching him now. And we might have a
slipstream.
battle for the end of the race.
Here we
There
go
it
then.
goes.
2 laps to go. 1 at the end of this sector. Buddha already looking for the move on Kraft. He is wasting absolutely no time. He is not looking to toy with his prey here. Round the outside at the final corner. Buddha does take first place. Does Kraft have anything left in the tank? He has led so many laps of this race. He has put in what an incredible performance. Buddha all the way across to the inside to defend it. Can Kraft just ride around the outside here on the limited grip that he has? He tries it. Buddha covers off the exit just in time. Kraft going wide through this last sweeping section. Can he try and pry a move anywhere on this track? He's just behind Buddha. One final chance coming up into the last sector. He goes for it, but he gets it all wrong. And Buddha, for the first time this season, for the first time for RMC, wins the Finnish Grand Prix and spoils the party of the young man who did so well. But with a lap to go, lost the race win. Sexy Digger takes 3rd place. Another amazing performance from him, but it wasn't quite in that fight for the win at the very end. Tanandi will take 4th for the LSA team, who are down on points a little bit, with Nuno out early on. Rusky getting in the spare car. JT will finish 5th, and Corvid Behind Danimator, Anti then Noms, Matti then Figuera, Grandi and Nico Minardi will come home in 13th place. Risky will take 14th. 15th for Rams, not quite maybe the results he would have wanted, but his first race back, he's shaken off the rust and he'll not be too displeased. Jaruni in 16th, Eurus will come home 17th, and Bubbles in for FGR, P18. Those are your results. The fastest lap of the race was Nico Minardi, 13th place for him, and for Lynx Racing, that extra point will go to them. These are your full results. I'll ask first for the Nuno rundown, then the Goose rundown of that incredible race.
Yeah, that rain really decided a lot of things. At the beginning, we had Hernandi and Charger going for that undercut, looking things quite good, because Buda really had a very, very difficult job to catch back, and then the rain just turned things around, and he was the one leading. Kraft went for he stayed out. Certainly benefited a lot from that. Quite a big battle there in the end, but yeah, Buda had quite a lot of pace, managed to catch him, managed to pass him as well. Then Kraft tried that last try, which could have worked, but he was too much on the inside and just doing too good. So yeah, he might have certainly a lot of title complications. I believe Wood and Hernandi will be tied for the lead of the standings, as they both have a first and a P4, and yeah, that's it.
I think Hernandi with pole position gets the extra points for that, does he?
Yeah,
Can't remember if we brought that in or not.
Yeah, he does, and I'm not sure if I take it as well as I tied with him.
Oh yeah, I think you do. Maybe you
So
split the points, you get one each. Or is it only 1 point for pole position? God, I don't know, I'm too old for this.
Yeah, I think they both got the points.
Sweet.
Yeah, with
I'm pretty
fastest
sure
lap
we've
it's
had
the
that
same.
happen before, to be honest.
Yeah,
Yes.
But they
fastest
weren't
lap,
from the
everyone
same
gets
team when
one.
it happened.
Yeah. Wow. Fascinating. We'll go to, for, well, actually, Goosey, if you want to do your little rundown there, what you thought from watching that.
No, I'm busy in the pits today, so we can go on to the drivers.
Okay, good to know. We'll go to Kraft. Kraft, what a performance, but just fell short in the end. Run us through it.
Oh, my heart is still racing. That was a lot of fun. And I got pretty lucky with the rain, and then it was just looking at Buddha, looking at myself, trying to be as fast as possible, obviously, but you know, one mistake, it's fine. P2 home race, I'm very happy about it, even if I didn't win.
You'll be applauded home as a home hero, I'm sure, by those fans. What a performance, man. Great race for you. We will go as well. Buddha, you can unmute if you want to give an interview. If you not, then don't worry. Oh yeah, go on, lad.
Microphone's not working.
Your microphone's not working.
It's working.
Yeah. Well done. P1. You got him right at the end.
Yeah, man. Graf was doing great job, but couple laps.
I think the microphone's now cut out.
Win.
Oh, there we go.
We know tire strategy was about to be said. Tire strategy for the win today.
Wow. Well done, mate. Absolutely amazing race, and your first race win for RMC as well.
Thank you very much.
And then finally, we will go to Hernandi, pole position, P4 in the end, and I believe you still lead the championship.
Yes, I believe too. It's really sad that Nuno couldn't race. I was expecting him to win. We got the tight pole, which was amazing, and then he had to go. It's really sad, but
I'm pretty sure I would have taken your strategy and got also screwed up by rain, so I'm not sure if I would win.
fair enough.
I don't see
Yeah.
myself staying out on lap 48, but maybe I would, I'm not too sure. But yeah.
But honestly, I was putting myself in P5 on raw pace before the race, so even the fact that I stood a chance and led a few laps was amazing. And I would have loved to see how the strategies played out, but yeah, happens sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I think it's probably fair to say you were quite equal on pace with Nuno, based off that qualifying result. You do have a good gap over him in the championship now. Do you think you're in it for a shot this year? Buda, Nuno, your main competition?
Not yet. I will not say anything in this regard until at least round 5.
If you're still leading at round 5, are you saying that you're in with a shot?
Maybe.
Right, good man. Well, thank you. Good race.
Thanks.
That is all we have time for today in what was quite a delayed race, but we did get going eventually. And a very entertaining one at that. We will be back next week for the Australian Grand Prix, round 3 in Formula 1 and round 3 in Ultimate League 2. We return to the track for the first time since season 9, our third track in a row that has been previously raced in the league. But for now, bye-bye.